Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to your reading for the middle of October 2025. We are going to jump right in here. You have this abundance and law of attraction card, which is great. It's funny that in the middle of this month, right, basically for the time that this is for, Neptune is retrograding back into Pisces. And I think I said to you in one of your recent weekly readings that this is actually pretty good for like law of attraction or attracting things or creating abundance. You have this buffalo spirit. It says the abundant universe will provide. So, it is a great time for you to manifest. I think what I said to you, and if I didn't, I'm going to say it right now. With Neptune retrograde, it's like we should be going more general with our manifestations. We should be kind of like focusing more on the big picture. And if you do that, I think that'll probably help you the most. And damn, you have this great fortune card here, Pisces. So, clearly could be a very good time for you to manifest if that's what you're doing at this moment. And I would be if I were you and putting the work in. I also am like getting the word return here, as in, and what I mean by that is like I feel like you could be getting a better return on the work that you're doing, which has definitely been a struggle for Pisces for many, many years. That, it's like probably you've been putting energy into whatever you've been working on, even yourself, right? This doesn't have to just be abundance. I think that's a big part of it, obviously, but I also feel this is other areas of your life as well, and it's like you're getting a better result. In your first row for your current general energies for the middle of the month, you have the Nine of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Seven of Swords. So again, two cards about cycles. Nine of Swords can be a never-ending cycle. It can be a never-ending nightmare. And you also have the Wheel of Fortune, which is kind of similar. It can be a repeat cycle or a cycle that you've been experiencing in your life. And so the Nine of Swords can be a never-ending nightmare, like I said. And the trick with the Nine of Swords is that we have to get out of the nightmare, obviously. We have to leave this situation. And so, I kind of almost feel that the card itself is saying you need to make sure that you remove any fears around, pretty much anything that you're doing in your life that has been holding you back. Or, it's kind of like popping into my head that some of you maybe, are kind of like staying stuck in something that you don't like. It's like I don't even feel like this is necessarily bad. You have the Eight of Cups in the same diagonal. The Eight of Cups isn't like terrible. The 8 cups that he's walking away from, those 8 cups do provide him with something, but it's just not right. And so, sometimes I feel with the Nine of Swords that we can be in a situation where it's like, it's not like awful, but it's also not great, and we're hoping to improve our situation. And it's almost like the universe is saying to you, like, hey, there's a lot of abundance here. It's time for you to, do that big project or that thing that's going to provide a better return. You have the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, again, only you can change your luck right now. We have Uranus next month. We'll be retrograding into Taurus. The thing about Uranus and Taurus, even though we're not there yet, we're very close. And what I would say is, you might as well start acting as if right now. But it's not very lucky, but that's also not true. It's not luck how we think of it. It's as in, we have to kind of more create our own luck with Uranus and Taurus. And that's what I would be focusing on with the Wheel of Fortune, is like doing things that make you lucky. And so, just to give you an example, if I wanted to be more lucky between now and really until until next year, I would be publishing more YouTube videos, right? Because that is where my luck can come from, right? It's what I do. So you have to like do more things with the Wheel of Fortune, or you have to put yourself in positions where luck can happen. It's like if you want a job, then obviously you're going to have to apply for some more jobs, right? If you want a relationship, obviously you're going to have to put yourself out there. And but again, I think the beautiful thing is that if you do that, the luck exists. So now is the time. You have the Seven of Swords. Everybody gets a Seven of Swords, and it is a very common energy. Again, we're in a time where we have to do things differently, especially for you, Uranus and Gemini. Uranus, again, will go back into Taurus next month, but it's still retrograding in Gemini right now. And with Uranus and Gemini, there are a million different perspectives on everything that we want to do in our lives, but we have to be open to all new perspectives. And so the Seven of Swords encourages you to like open up to all the new perspectives, or open up to perspective. And I would stay open to just other ways of doing what you're doing right now. So again, you don't even, like, if you hate your job, you don't even necessarily have to quit. But the Seven of Swords says, is there a different way? Can you change your perspective? Can you just look at it more positively? Maybe that's all you have to do. Or, is there a different position that you could get? And sorry, let me just shuffle this real quick, Pisces. Some of those cards were flipped the wrong way around. So let's fix that. But, again, can you just change your perspective is what I would do. With the Nine of Swords, we'll take both. You have the Five of Wands in the World right here. The Five of Wands can be conflict or competition. Yeah, Pisces is being asked to level up for sure. And, you're being asked to take up more space. I think that a lot of your old Capricorn energy is being triggered right now. It's funny that you have the Devil right next to this. We have Jupiter in Cancer, which, is kind of the opposite of Capricorn. And for many years, you have dealt with, Pluto in Capricorn in your 11th house. Plus we had Saturn in Capricorn in 2016. It's all been preparing you for, what's going to be happening right now. I think it's the perfect storm for Pisces to work with groups of people, to stand out, to get attention, to get recognition. And it's you've been prepared for this since 2016, maybe even since 2012, really. And, now is the time for you to stand out. And, as I always say to you, this is why I always say to Pisces that, Pisces, I believe, has been through what everybody's about to go through. And it's if you could be a living example for those people, it could lead to whatever the heck you want. It could lead to attention, success, growth, abundance, so many things. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Two of Pentacles. No more hard work, right? I think Pisces has to leave the struggle behind. And your life since 2012, at least, has probably been the struggle bus. Even if you've had success, it's probably been through hard work, right? And really putting in the hours and burning the midnight oil and all that other stuff, right? And so I believe, and I've probably said this to you before, that, if you're thinking I'm going to do this business and it has to be super complicated, no. Is the answer, Pisces. You need to keep it simple, right? And not burn yourself out, because that's not the energy the universe wants you to be in right now. The universe wants you to, whether you believe it or not, the universe wants you to create success easily. Now, does that mean it's going to be easy? No, but probably easier than you think. And I think you need to start thinking like that. With all this abundance stuff here, and again, that would be a good broad affirmation for you that success comes to me easily. I would be saying that to yourself every day. Brainwash yourself with Neptune retrograding into Pisces. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Three of Pentacles. Funny that I literally just said teams, groups of people, things like that. And also, Three of Pentacles is about getting attention for your work that you do. So, it's definitely time for Pisces to be on display, show off. Speak out, speak up. We've talked about this before with Saturn and Aries. Saturn is retrograding in Pisces right now, but it doesn't really matter. I would still be, kind of speaking up more, taking up more space, and making sure that you're not doing things to hide. Making sure you're doing things that make you stand out, right? Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Buffalo Spirit, says the abundant universe will provide. You have this Dog Spirit, says be loyal to what you love. I mean, critically important all the way through Neptune and Aries, for sure. As I've said to you a million times, and probably will say to you another 10 million times. And if you don't like that, I don't know, too freaking bad. But what I would say here is that, again, with Neptune and Aries, especially next year, it's going to move into Aries in January. If you're doing things that you don't like, you're going to have it's going to be a struggle. It is going to be struggle bus, right? I think if you're doing things that you absolutely love, that you feel inspired to do, then you're going to have a great time. And so you need to do more of that, right? And that's where the abundance will come from. You have the Devil. I do feel they're just little strings, of things that are kind of attached to you. Little old beliefs, little limiting beliefs, limiting situations, things like that are still attached to you in some way. I don't feel you have to be perfect with this energy, but I definitely feel that when you catch yourself in doing the things that keep you stuck, that you just correct it, right? Again, I don't think this is the universe saying oh, you have to be 100% perfect on this or anything, but I feel when you catch yourself and you say, okay, I'm going to correct this, that's good. That'll be a good thing. But I would take a look at those, limiting circumstances or anything that you feel is a blockage and, try to remove it. With the Eight of Cups can be about walking away from what no longer serves you, of course, needing to walk away from things that no longer serve you, which I'm a big fan of for you. Again, these 8 cups do provide him with something, but not enough, and so he's choosing to walk away because he knows that these 8 cups no longer serve him, and he knows he has to walk into darkness. So he's choosing to not settle, and by not settling, he is, kind of sending a signal to the universe that he's serious about what he wants. And that's kind of this trick with the 8 of Cups. It's like if you're in a relationship, but you know it isn't right, then you're basically telling the universe that it's okay that you're in a relationship that isn't right. And so the 8 of Cups, sometimes we have to make hard, tough decisions with the 8 of Cups. For most of you, I feel this is work-related. I'm cheating a little bit because, it makes sense to me based off your astrology, especially with Uranus going back into Taurus as well. Even though that's your 3rd house, doesn't really matter. And again, next year, Neptune and Saturn going back into your 2nd. It just seems to me like, again, not settling for less than you deserve. I feel, I really feel for Pisces, like something that you could experience over the next couple years at least, is you're probably going to see a lot of people or things that are doing something you want to do, kind of like inspiration, right? You could feel inspired and say to yourself, I can do that. And yes, I'm here to say, yes, you can. The reason you're thinking that is because the universe is like, yes, do that, whatever you're looking up to. And it might mean that you have to walk away from something that no longer serves you, but, you pretty much should. You have the Death card, which is changes. Again, with that 8 of Cups, I feel you're asking yourself more questions than you should. Like, I think it would be, even though this is for the middle of October, from now until like 2 Octobers from now, the next couple of years, if you're getting into a relationship, I think you really need to say, do I really want to be with this person? Don't say this to the person, right? Terrible idea. Don't open your mouth like that, right? But think to yourself before you get into the connection. Do I really want to be in this? And I'm not saying you do or you don't, right? But you have to be the one to make that decision, because I think old Pisces would be like, oh my God, someone's finally giving me attention. I need to rush right into this, right? No more, Pisces. Now is the time where you say, is this something that I actually truly want? Do I really like this person? Or is this a person I need to save? Is this a person I want to fix? Is this a person who just has given me a crumb of attention when I deserve more? I don't know. I can't answer that question for you, but I would. Same thing with work. It's like maybe you've been having a hard time getting a job. It's like, do you really want to get the job? If you're being offered a job over the next couple of years, do you really want it? Are they paying you enough? Or are they not paying you enough? And, those are some of the tough decisions that I think you need to make, because, the universe is trying to get Pisces to value themselves. With the Devil, you have the Knight of Pentacles. I kind of feel pretty good about this. I feel like you're no longer playing the slow game, just in general with people, especially. Like, there is a little bit of love here. And so if you're attracting love, and if someone isn't, it's like I feel it's like you're more looking for a sure thing, where it's like that a person definitely wants to be in the connection. I feel if you catch a whiff of a person, not giving you attention or, whatever, I feel like you're going to be like, okay, no, I'm moving on from this. I'm not even going to entertain it. And so I feel you are being more decisive. I do also feel you have the opportunity to make a lot of progress past obstacles, and I would. With the 8 of Cups, you have the 6 of Swords. Very good. Moving on to calmer shores. Heading towards major improvements here, Pisces. They're making their life easier. Maybe this woman and this child in the boat here, they are choosing to move on to calmer shores for the hopes of a brighter future. I always say they don't know if the other side is going to be an improvement or not. And so there is kind of a little bit of faith or whatever, or hope, or whatever you want to call it, that I feel as part of the reading, where it's like saying you need to have faith in yourself. That's it. Because again, I think Pisces needs to realize that they basically are like a Navy SEAL of life. You've been through a lot of challenges, and these challenges have strengthened you, but you have to use that strength now to accomplish something great. With the Death card, you have the Queen of Swords. Like I said, I feel like you're seeing things very clearly. I feel you should be trusting your gut instincts. Again, if you're meeting a person here, boom, right here, I feel that you will know, if they're serious or not. And I do feel that this row right here is basically saying, trust it, right? If the person seems like they're actually interested and they're giving you attention and they're not giving 900 other people attention, good, right? But if they are doing that, then bad, Pisces. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this great water card. It says yearning, dreams, wishes, goals, abroad, foreign people, spirituality, broadening horizons, new views. Yes. You have this great fortune card. It says good luck, triumph, happiness, ease, right? Making things easier. Reward for your efforts. Yes, that's what this reading is talking about. Fulfillment, dreams come true, positive outcome. Really good. So, again, you definitely have one of the best opportunities to manifest an impossible dream, as I always say, because, you're getting this final hug and a kiss goodbye from Neptune in your sign. And, Neptune in your sign wants you to accomplish the impossible dream. And normally, Neptune is not accompanied by Saturn. So it is a blessing that we have Saturn there at the same time. And I feel like the universe really wants Pisces. I think you need to work backwards. One of my favorite activities of all times is to write out your life as if it went 100% according to plan. You write it out, everything that you want. You completely eliminate other people, by the way, and you don't include anything that they want, right? This is a selfish exercise. Yes, I'm giving you permission to be selfish. And the reason we do this is so that we can figure out what we really want, right? And then we work backwards from there, and we figure out how we can build up to it. And I think that would be a great exercise. Speaking of great water and great fortune, it's a great exercise for you to do. And I would make it as easy as possible. Again, I think your past many years, it's like you're too used to having to work 90 hours a week, 100 hours a week getting something done. I feel like you need to lower that to like 10 hours a week or, a couple hours every morning and see what you can accomplish. And that's what I would do here. You have the Two of Swords, the Two of Wands, and the Page of Cups. Two of Swords is kind of like being stuck in a stalemate. It's almost saying to me that you already know what to do, you're just not doing it. She has this island over here. That island is her solution. It kind of represents a third place solution. It represents something different that she could do with her life, but she needs to put those swords down and take her blindfold off. I do feel a little bit like Pisces is in protection mode a little bit, like you're trying to, I think Pisces is too used to losing things. I think when we get used to losing things that we try to hold on harder to what we have. And it's like there really is no good answer here. The Eight of Cups, Six of Swords, it's asking you to move on to that next thing, your next project, your next relationship, your next whatever, and to kind of be more vulnerable. Maybe with this Two of Swords, she's trying to protect her heart, and that's what I would do. You have the Two of Wands. Yeah, it's like bold moves is really what I'm getting here. I'm kind of like, we still have some more clarifying to do, but I feel the Two of Wands, like I'm surprised like the King of Wands or Queen of Wands isn't in this reading, because the Two of Wands, he has to be a leader, but he is kind of making a bold move because he has to get out into the world. And I'll tell you what, with Uranus and Gemini for the next many years, you will be making bold moves. Fourth house is moving, but it can also just be the moves you make in life, right? So, and Uranus and Gemini is a little bit rebellious. So you could be doing some things that surprise people, that shock people, whatever, and it will probably be a good thing for you, not a bad thing. So I would definitely do that with this card. You have the Page of Cups. Definitely could be an admirer. Again, it is a good time for love for you. I do feel like you have to put more energy into getting it if you want it. So I will say that. But I do feel some of you have an admirer. And maybe you have multiple and you don't even realize it. But I think if you start, socializing, meeting new people, putting yourself out there, that you could surprise yourself with a person. With the Two of Swords, you have the Tower. Yeah, basically the universe saying, if you don't do this, I'm going to do it for you, right? So it's like, if you don't make the change, that sometimes that's how I feel about the Tower. It's like, I don't really think the Tower is a bad card anyway, but sometimes I think the universe gives us some nudges towards making a change. And then if we don't make the change, the universe is like, okay, well, I'm going to have to make this change for you. So what I would say here is that you're watching this before this happens. You have to make a change. So go ahead and do it. With the Two of Wands, you have the Six of Pentacles. Yeah, just take the first step. I said this to you in one of your last readings as well. All you have to do is plant the seeds and good things will happen. So, I would start putting in the energy. It's funny that this whole time, he's giving to this person, not this person. So again, the whole reading is really telling you to be careful of who you give what to, right? Be careful with your energy. Make sure you're not burning yourself out. Make sure you're giving enough to yourself, nurturing yourself, all that other good stuff. With the Page of Cups, you have the Seven of Swords. Yeah, Seven of Swords is about doing things in a different way. Again, definitely very true for Pisces. You're not going to meet a person like you did the last 20 times, right, Pisces? I think that is your old story. I guarantee you, if you look at your past connections, that they probably all came about the same way. Which could be anything. Maybe you met the past 20 people on Tinder. Maybe you met them in public. Maybe you met them at the gym. So, I think you're going to meet someone very differently. And, it's just going to be a different situation overall. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Aquarius card that says collaborate on it, and this Leo card that says shine on it. Yes, the whole time we've been talking about you standing out. So definitely time for you to shine. The Aquarius card, the opposite of Leo, is saying collaborate. And so I think working together with other people is going to be very beneficial for you as well here, Pisces. So I would be teaming up with people, working on group projects, things like that, getting people to help you. You have the Justice card, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles in the area of the good stuff. The Justice card is balance, so I would be creating more balance in your life in general. I do feel that you could be feeling a sense of justice. I think this is I don't know why I feel this way, but it's I feel like this reading is talking about your next 2 years. I know this is a mid-monthly reading, and, whatever, the universe doesn't wear a watch. Things happen when they're going to happen, right? But I feel this is something, you're going to notice this, starting now. So, that's the good news. And the good news is I think it's going to last for a while. But you could be feeling like the universe is being more fair or more balanced with you. And I do like that. You have the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in your life. So a lot of you really are probably focusing on, building up towards the things that you desire, which I think is a great thing for Pisces to be doing for sure with the Ten of Pentacles. And again, you could be focusing on building or leaving a legacy with the Ten of Pentacles. Also amazing for money here. Again, I feel like if your return is the word that I want to use here. And by return, I mean you put energy into something, the energy that returns to you is better. So, that could be work, could also be love. It's if you're investing your energy in love or yourself or your health, I feel like you're just getting a better result. You have the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, time for resourcefulness for sure. But the Queen of Pentacles and the good stuff is multiplication. It can say that you're experiencing a multiple of a result on something, which is amazing. You could be getting a much better result on the things that you're working on, which could be everything in your life with the Ten of Pentacles. And I love that. I would be focusing on things that multiply, right? With the Justice card, you have the Eight of Wands. Could be good news. If you're involved in something legal, this could be good news in whatever it is that you're dealing with legally. I also feel this just, could be good news coming in for you. I also feel this is quick movement. I wouldn't even worry if a tower moment does happen. If you lose something or if you feel like you are losing something, I feel like you're going to be able to change things very quickly. Again, I've known a ton of Pisces in my life, and so many Pisces, it's when the shit hits the fan, for lack of a better term, they're able to, that's when the rubber meets the road and when Pisces really puts in the work and is able to create something amazing. So, sometimes. With the Ten of Pentacles, you have the Seven of Cups. Yes, if you can dream it, you can have it, is basically what this is saying. So, I feel you really need to believe that, Pisces, that if you can dream it, if you can imagine it, then you can create it. And I would get to work. As I say, get to work, you have the Eight of Pentacles. So, with the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is straightforward, diligent work. He's putting work into those 8 pentacles that he has been building. And, you could be getting a lot of, or you could be building something that's going to lead to long-term success. Again, critically important for Pisces. Saturn moving into your second. It's already been there. It's already entered into Aries. The thing about Saturn and Aries is you have to build something like a project that you're going to work on for a while. Get-rich-quick schemes, things like that. You have this October card. We're in October. Then in this bouquet, it says compliments from an admirer. Yes, definitely could be receiving compliments from a person. So if you're looking for love, your next card says marriage on it. So you could be receiving compliments from a person you could marry in the future. Of course, you don't have to, but again, if you're looking for a deep commitment, definitely could be a commitment coming in for you. You have the staff card. It says you will be taken care of in difficult times. I would change this to say that Pisces is taking care of themselves better, right? So I think this whole reading is talking about how you treat yourself, ultimately. And, I feel that you should be treating yourself better. You have this dog far away. It says a distant friend is thinking of you. Yeah, if someone pops into your head, I always say, with this card, we should be reaching out. You're very intuitive. There could be a reason you're thinking of a person or someone's popping up in your mind. You have this turkey. It says someone is behaving stupidly. Yeah, we just need to ignore it. I always say at the end of last year into this year, we had Mars retrograde in Leo. We just had Mercury go retrograde in Leo, the last Mercury retrograde. We're going to have Jupiter go retrograde in Leo next year. It's kind of like calling back that original Mars retrograde energy when we have multiple, in a row in the same sign, basically. Even though it's not really in a row, we've had retrogrades in between, kind of. And so what I would say here is I would just ignore people who are squawking like a turkey. But this looks very good, Pisces. I do like this. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment. Really helps me out. And definitely enjoy your month.